One of the most frustrating things is to work long, hard hours and not get results at something. There's a principle in time management and personal productivity called the 80-20 rule, which basically says in any area of life, 20% of actions are going to drive 80% of the results. It's not necessarily that fucking precise every time, but as a general rule, a small minority of actions that you take are going to drive the vast majority of your results. So naturally, it makes sense to concentrate as much of our time on these tasks versus all the other tasks that we could be doing. Most people, they do the exact fucking opposite. They're professionals at wasting time on stupid, trivial, irrelevant bullshits. They work on the fun stuff, they work on the irrelevant tasks, they work on the stuff that's fun, they play on the computer, they check notifications, and at the end of the day, they've barely gotten anything of actual substance done. If you're making YouTube videos, for example, if you're trying to grow on social media, grow a personal brand, a business account, whatever it is, dude, the key thing that drives results is just posting content that's well optimized to perform well on the platform. That's the key thing that you should focus on. What do most people do? They check notifications, they run the notification circuit, woohoo, they hit refresh, they check in 30 times a day, they're looking at analytics, they're obsessing over the numbers 30 times a fucking day, and that does absolutely nothing to actually move the ball forward and get them the results they're after. What they should be doing is just spending as much time as possible producing content, getting better at the process, learning about how to win on the fucking algorithm. Focus there, because that's what drives the results. If you're in sales, for example, if you're running a business where you're dependent upon actually like selling shit to people, face to face or over the phone, whatever it is, dude, the key activity you should focus on is prospecting, presenting, and closing. That's it. Chatting with coworkers, checking email, spending time on the computer playing around. Dude, none of that shit matters, and you should just focus all your time on actually selling to people face to face or over the phone, or however it is that you go about driving the sales. Now, you can also 80-20 the 80-20. This is where you really start to make leaps and bounds in your personal productivity. Because step one is you just identify all the activities that you do. You can just list them out, spell it out clearly, and then just find out what 20% of actions drive 80% of the results. And just focus here. That's step one. Step two is within that 20%. We've already identified, for example, these are the key things I need to focus on. Within here, you can narrow your focus even more to find the 20% within that 20% that gets most of the results in this fucking area. So if you're in sales, for example, dude, you might look at your sales numbers and find, hey, one demographic, one particular industry. Dude, we get 80% of our revenues and profits from this industry alone. And so naturally, you could just focus more of your time and attention on that. And it's just like, whoa, dude, then you start to make really exponential jumps in your productivity. If you're doing YouTube or TikTok videos or whatever it is, dude, you can just look at all your videos and say, hey, this one style of video, it's getting us 80% of our views. Why don't we just do more of this? Wasting all this time on this shit that's not getting any views. Just focus on what's already working. Do more of that. Even if it's something like you're going out to meet women, you're trying to find a girlfriend, set up some dates, whatever the fuck it is. Dude, you could find that one strategy, one location at one particular time, you get 80% of your approaches in. That's where you meet the most fucking women anyway, so you could just spend more time doing what already works. So if you just 80-20, the 80-20, you can make huge jumps in your productivity by just doing that alone. Now, you can also apply the 80-20 rule at the activity level. What I mean by this is you can just look at a given activity and say, like, how thoroughly, how well a job do I even need to fucking do here? If you're writing an email, dude, spending an hour, 2 hours writing one email is just colossally fucking stupid. Oh, it's got to be perfect. I got to read it over 30 times and grammar check it and consult a fucking English professor to get his opinion on the words I'm using here. Dude, you need to just type the fucking thing and move on with your pathetic life. Spending 2 hours writing an email, what the fuck is that, dude? Let's say you're doing YouTube videos and one of your things is like you want to write descriptions that are well optimized for SEO. You could get fucking spreadsheets and you could spend 5 hours analyzing the perfect keywords to use, or you could just do a couple fucking quick searches, find some top queries, get a general overview, what are people searching, and then you just fucking write a quick description and move on with your life. Maybe something like cleaning your apartment. Something as simple as that. You can be super thorough and super fucking detailed and get a goddamn magnifying glass, or you can just do it quickly and just move on with it, What you need to understand is that perfectionism at every step is the enemy of 80-20. I'm going to say that again because it's very important. Perfectionism at every step is the enemy of 80-20. You need to know when and where to compromise. You need to be able to look at all the fucking steps in a process and understand here I can just half-ass it and do it quickly because this really doesn't fucking matter. Some steps, they're critical, and you have to do a really good fucking job. Other steps, sending a shitty fucking email, who gives a flying fuck? Type the thing and just move on with your life. You need to be able to break it down, and it's really important that you allocate your time proportional to the payoff of the activity. Look at what you're doing, And if you get a huge payoff from doing something, spend more time on that, do that thing well, do that thing effectively, get smarter and better at that thing. The irrelevant shit, the trivial shit, writing a fucking description, sending an email, hustle through that and get it done as fast as fucking possible. Allocate your time proportional to the payoff of the activity, and that's going to really help you to level up your personal effectiveness. Now, a lot of people might understand this conceptually. They're like, yeah, of course, focus on the important stuff, Anton, fucking breakthrough thoughts here. It's one thing to understand it conceptually, but here are some tips and strategies that'll help you to actually apply this 80-20 thinking in the work that you're doing. Number one is stretch your thinking using extreme, ridiculous questions and scenarios, because these really help to break you out of your conventional thinking patterns and thought processes, and instead really force you to just get ruthless about what you need to focus your fucking time on. One question I absolutely love: if I could only work 15 minutes per week in this area, how would I spend that 15 minutes? If you're trying to grow on social media, you wouldn't spend one fucking minute checking notifications, woohoo, replying to comments, looking at analytics 30 times a day. Dude, look at the stats on how many hours the average person spends per day just checking notifications and running the fucking dopamine circuit. Dude, it's multiple hours per day for the average person, scrolling the shit, checking the notifications. If you only had 15 minutes per week, you would spend every fucking minute producing the best content you can and posting it. That's what you would spend your time on. Another good one: if I could only do one thing all day long, all week long, if there was just one thing I could spend my time on in this area, what would I do? If you're trying to get in shape, dude, you would spend your time working out. You wouldn't read fitness articles and go to fucking 15 different blogs about the best way to do a fucking bicep curl and read 29 articles about how many pieces of broccoli you need to fucking eat. You would just do some fucking push-ups. You would just do some sit-ups. You would go to the fucking gym. If you're trying to sell shit to people, you would just focus on prospecting, presenting, and closing. If you're trying to meet women, you would just approach a fucking hot chick and talk to her, and just run to the next one and do it again and again and again. Questions like these really help you to identify redundancy, needless overwork, areas where you're just pointlessly wasting your time on shit. The more ridiculous and extreme the scenario, the more it really forces you to be fucking ruthless. So come up with questions like this, brainstorm, actually come up with answers, and you're going to find tons of ways to level up your productivity and personal effectiveness. Another question I fucking love: if I was the dumbest fuck on the planet, what kind of stupid, pointless shit would I waste my fucking time on here? Ask that and you'll identify tons of opportunities, tons of things you're presently doing, hours per week, and you're going to say, what kind of a stupid fucking moron am I spending all my time on this shit? It also helps to ask, what would happen if I just stopped doing this thing altogether? What if I just totally stopped this activity? Or what if I dialed it back like 100x? Instead of checking my email 30 times a day, what if I checked it once per day? What if I did it once per week? Could I get away with that? If you need to do it more than that, so fucking be it. But, see how far you can push it to get like the maximal productivity gains in that area. If you're checking notifications and analytics on your social media accounts to see the growth and shit like that, dude, you could do that once per month and you'd be fucking fine. In fact, it's arguably better to do it this way, where you just check in like once per month or once every couple weeks, because you can get a big picture understanding of the overall trends, the overall patterns. This type of content, it's working well. These hashtags are performing well. And you get a much better understanding of how to actually improve your effectiveness versus just refresh, getting those little dopamine hits. Wham, baby needs his dopamine. That's most fucking people on these social media sites. They just check in constantly. There's zero value to it whatsoever. It just wastes your fucking time. So, asking questions like that, if I can't stop it altogether, what if instead of doing it 50 times a day, how about once a month? Dude, sometimes you can get away with that, and it just gives you huge, enormous fucking time savings. It also helps to think in terms of results per hour, outputs per hour, like a fucking factory. How can I maximize this? Like Henry Ford, they break down the fucking assembly line. They want to look at every step of the process. How many Model Ts are we cranking out? How many bad boys are we pumping out per hour? Look at results per hour, and you can identify big opportunities to identify waste, quit wasting time on bullshit. You can batch your fucking tasks, and it really helps you to identify opportunities where it's like, I could just go here to this one location at this one time, and I can talk to like 20 women in 1 hour versus spending all these hours trying all this other shit. Dude, if you just think, how many approaches per hour am I getting? You can just find strategies and techniques that make you way more effective per unit time. And that's just textbook 80-20 thinking. You should also sit the fuck down and make an actual physical list of all the activities or steps in a current process. Literally write the shit down. And that really helps you to just identify, like, why am I even doing this step? What if I just eliminated this step altogether? This step here, step number 6, this is fucking stupid. I don't need to waste my time on this shit. This one here, dude, I spent 3 hours on this. I could do it in 5 minutes. Get the same results. Physically write out all the activities you're doing, all the steps, and sometimes it's just plain as day. It just jumps out at you like, why am I even doing this shit? Why am I spending time on this? That's very helpful as well. Here's another breakthrough thought for you. Work on the most important things first, early in the morning, early in the week. Wow, just a fucking breakthrough thought. You'd be amazed at how many people waste the fucking early part of their day. They check social media, they run the dopamine circuit, they check the news, they fart around for a little bit, watch some television, and then they get to work on the important stuff. I'm going to do some laundry, I'll clean up a little bit, and then I'll try to level my life up where it actually fucking counts. Dude, put the first things first. I mean, it's such a simple concept that most people, it's just totally foreign to them. Like, what? Wake up and just do the important things first in the morning? That's fucking unheard of. I need to waste at least 3 hours per day before I can jump into the meaty important things that actually are going to drive results. Put the first things first, and that's really going to help you to just knock it out. Like, if you have a really busy day where you can't get everything on your list done, it's way better to get the important shit done first and delay the stuff that's irrelevant. Dude, laundry can wait a fucking day. Cleaning your apartment, tidying up some fucking dishes. Fuck that, man. I'm trying to grow this business. I'm trying to grow these social media accounts, whatever it is. Put the first things first. It's really going to help you to just ingrain that thinking pattern to where you're actually acting in accordance with the priorities you've set for yourself. You can also ask, what activities can I delegate to other people versus what things do I personally need to do myself? If you think about it, this is just another level where you can run the 80-20 analysis. Let's say you've identified, in sales, prospecting, presenting, and closing, that's the shit that I should focus on. Dude, inside of there, if you're at a certain level in your business or career, maybe you could hire somebody to help with prospecting and generating leads. So you could spend as much of your time as possible on where you're strongest, on presenting, closing, driving the fucking sales. If you're doing videos, for example, you've identified, to grow my social media brands on these platforms, most important thing, I need to put my head down and just produce content. Dude, even inside of there, you could say, do I need to spend my time personally editing videos? I could hire some guy for $10 an hour to do that. Do I need to personally be coming in here and uploading and posting the shit and making the thumbnails? Dude, I could hire somebody to do that cheaply for me. So if you just break down the activities and say, what do I personally need to do? That can help you to identify opportunities where you can delegate, outsource, pass off to other people, pay them pretty fucking cheaply. I mean, you'd be amazed at some of the freelancers, what they charge for services like this, video editing, shit like that. That's another level where you can run this 80-20 analysis, and it really helps you to identify areas where you're strongest and where you personally need to spend your time. Also, make sure that you're just actively planning out what you're going to do, how you're going to do it, versus just aimlessly stumbling around through life. I mean, most people, they're like the drunk man stumbling down the alleyway. Just hits the fucking dumpster, hits the lamppost, just every little bump and distraction and thing that just presents itself. They're just aimlessly wandering through fucking life. Sit the fuck down, put a plan in place, figure out what are the top priorities, what are the 20% of activities I need to focus on, and plan out your week, plan out your fucking day in such a way where you're focusing on the important shit versus just waking up and just winging it. Oh, I hope I get some important shit done. Make sure you get important shit done by scheduling it, putting a plan in place, and taking effective action. Also, make sure that you're holding yourself accountable to these 80-20 principles. Once you've identified the important shit to focus on and the irrelevant stuff to avoid and not waste your time on, put some sort of system in place where you can track your progress, hold yourself accountable. And, it's not you're not just counting on willpower and discipline and motivation. Some sort of tracking system where maybe you count how many months in a row have I only checked notifications and analytics once on the first day of the month. And you just build up a streak of how many months in a row you've maintained that discipline. That keeps you on track. That keeps you focused. And once you do that, you have so much time that gets freed up. Because you're like, fuck, man, I would just spend all this free time checking notifications and analytics. I don't even know what to fucking do with myself all this free time. Some sort of system in place where you're making sure that you're holding yourself to the fucking standards you set for yourself versus counting on willpower really helps to actually cement these 80-20 principles as a way of living and operating instead of just like some abstract thing that you understand in the back of your head. Yeah, cool, that sounds good. Back to checking notifications. No, none of that shit. Put disciplines in place, put good systems in place that hold you accountable, and make damn sure that you're focusing on your top priorities. Hope you found this helpful. Let me know in the comment section how else you apply the 80-20 rule to your life, your business, whatever the fuck it is. Hit that like button, subscribe, and check back for more videos.